On any of the agenda items? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Rachel Malcolm. I'm from Ward 3. I've spoken at a couple of the other school board meetings already. I appreciate that the school board spoke tonight about some more information. I think that's really what the public's been looking for, is more information. We don't have the facts, so there's really not much to run off of. So that's something that I'll say I think all of us are frustrated about. For the taxpayer money that's potentially going to be moved early, we don't know, right? My question goes with what Mayor Gerard said as well. You know, what kind of oversight does that do you foresee from the council? Because I think that is due. I don't think that that should just be given in whatever amount it may be, upwards of $5 million. My concern is that, you know, if there's no oversight, how do we know that that money is going to be used appropriately? It hasn't been in the past, and that's a fact that we know. There was an article from the New Hampshire Journal, and they pointed to multiple non-compliances of grant money from the state being used incorrectly. There are multiple letters that have been sent to fix this. It was not fixed. They were told by the Claremont School District that they were fixed in October, I believe, of 2024. They were not fixed at that time. I would like to read some of the article quickly, in case you missed it. The Claremont School District misused federal grant money for years, using the funds to pay people it later could not identify during a New Hampshire Department of Education review, among other financial red flags. New Hampshire Journal obtained several state compliance letters revealing the disarray inside the SAU 6 business offices that led to the state withholding all federal grant funding for most of 2024. While the issues that halted the money were supposedly corrected in October of last year, a blistering 59-page compliance letter to suspended Superintendent Chris Pratt in July cited a host of old and new federal grant violations. So we knew about this in July, but the public was not aware until 1 week before school. This is not directed at you guys, this is directed behind me. This Claremont School Board learned of a multi-million-dollar deficit that appears to have begun sometime in 2023 when Henry was hired. That's Mary Henry. For starters, Claremont could not prove it used certified teachers or certified paraeducators for Title I services as required by federal law. That's a concern. That's because the district apparently could not name the people it employed based on its own records. We noted that Claremont indicated that it did not know the names of the educators providing equitable services through 2023 to 2024.
Ms. Malcolm?
Yes.
Your 3 minutes is up. I apologize.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else like to speak? Mr. Petron?
James Petron, Ward 2. Just like to know what the starting operating budget is for the school. How much money do they carry over each year to start up? Okay, so we're missing that money, and we're talking about getting a loan for $4 million with a 2% rate. Well, why don't we just take, if you're going to loan them a little extra money up front, take that money up front and give them the $4 million. We don't need the loan. There's no need of getting a loan when we can do that. And we all have to remember, this is for 180 days. All this money is getting spent. We're spending over $217,000 a day for the schools. And where's it all going? You know, and what is the startup budget for the school? How much do they carry over every year? That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Petron.
Thank you.
Yes, Ms. Sandblade.
Thank you. I'm short. My name is Emily Sandblade, and I live in Ward 3. Last March, I ran for a seat on the school board and lost. What a blessing that turned out to be. Besides the relief from not sitting on the business side of the table at school board meetings and facing a large crowd of upset and fearful people, I can engage in I told you so's. I frequently said that local entities like the school system and the local government should be cautious about what federal and state grants they took. SAU 6 and apparently the school board believes that the more grants, the merrier. But the school administration clearly couldn't handle the volume, so here we are looking like deer in headlights. The main reason why some grants aren't worth going after is because studies show that taking a federal grant costs the recipient 1.5 times the revenue from the grant. SAU 6 is like the naive businessman who loses on every small transaction, but then says he'll make it up on volume. However, I never would have thought that the administrative management, and I am hoping that it's only mismanagement, would be so severe that taking grants became even more unprofitable. So here we are. There's a big hole in the school revenue. The money has long been spent, and the vendors have been stiffed for weeks or months. And now you folks are sitting on the business side of the table, and you have to co-sign a loan that looks an awful lot like kicking a can down the road. Due to state law, you can't set requirements for the district to get its act together. To get out of this mess, the school board will need to do some or all of the following. 1, close things. 2, sell stuff. 3, fire people. 4, raise taxes. Generally, the go-to approach has been 4, raise taxes. This is no longer a viable approach. I've developed a spreadsheet, and I'll be happy to give copies to everybody, that shows some of the demographics and school statistics for the last 9 years. The numbers show that Claremont is economically crashing. Median household income has declined from $60,583 in 2016 to $54,520, about $6,000 a year less, and that's not adjusting for inflation. If we do adjust for inflation, median household income should be around $76,000. That's $16,000 higher than it was in 2016 and $22,000 higher than it is now. In the meantime, school costs per student have risen 50% between 2016 and 2024. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to understand that this is not sustainable. It's a good thing because with declines in all proficiency scores in English language arts, math, and science, there's not going to be a whole lot of rocket scientists running around in Claremont. ELA proficiency has dropped from 42% to 36%, math from 34% to 20%. There's a little hope. Science has only dropped from 23% to 20%.
Ms. Sandblade, your time is up. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else like to speak this evening? Mr. Menard?
Hello, Ray Menard, Ward 3. With all of this that's been going on, I've been going to these school meetings, and I've lived here all my life. When I went to school, when you did math, you showed your work. So far, the school board has not shown any tangible work to anybody on numbers. The public doesn't know anything about it. All we get is, this is what we think we need. If I go to the bank, they want real numbers. They don't go, well, what do you think you need? So before the city goes ahead and releases money to them, they should show you some real numbers of what their budget is, where the money is going and everything else. Am I wrong on that? And that's all I got to say.
Anybody else like to speak during? Yes, sir.
Hi, Conrad Farnham from Ward 3. First meeting I've ever attended in 22 years. This is important. My taxes are so high, I cannot go any higher. I'm afraid I'm going to lose my house. It's just me now living at my house. I'm a one-income family. I bought my house back in 2003. I've been here, like I said, for 22, almost 23 years now. And I can't do this anymore. Like, we have to stop the spending in this city. I understand that to move forward, you have to have money, you have to do things that are going to improve. We're not improving. There's a lot of things that we just need to stop now. So please do that for us.
Thank you, Mr. Farnham. Anybody else? We appreciate that. Thank you.
I won't be there.
Mr. Tyson, and then I'll...
Kevin Tyson, Ward 2.
I derive no solace from the crunchy noise that the previous generations of school boards and administrations make when we throw them under the bus. Everybody has mentioned the lack of information, disinformation, and the only way that we are going to fix this problem going forward is with radical transparency. At present, when we talk about budgets in public meetings, we get to see pictures of data. We don't get the actual data. If you go to the New Hampshire Department of Education, they have a wonderful Tableau interface that lets you slice and dice all of the information they have however you want. It's an expensive product. I don't expect you guys to run out and purchase this, but we need to do something because you guys are volunteers, you guys are volunteers. There are other people who might be able to lend expertise in this kind of analysis, whatever analysis is necessary, if we are transparent and open with the information. That's all I want to say.
Thank you, Mr. Tyson. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Julie Hilliard. I'm in Ward 2, and I've been listening carefully to everything here tonight, and still am pretty confused, like probably everybody is, because we've heard a lot of excuses about how things went sideways, went wrong, and were missed. It seems pretty obvious that some glaring mismanagement was going on, and I really fail to see how everybody could have missed budgets. Like, budgets to keep schools running are important. Audits are important. It's important to know that you have the money to do this, and how this was missed year after year after year is beyond me. And the complaining of chatter online and misinformation, well, that's what happens when people don't have any information and are not getting any answers. In Claremont, we are literally being taxed right out of our homes. And while this thing with the schools, we have to have schools, our children are very important, it's not going to help if we can't stay in our homes. The taxpayers here pay a lot already towards schools, a lot. And there is no reason we should be paying any more to keep our schools open. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hilliard. Yes, sir. Yep.
My name is Zach Greenwood from Ward 2.
I'm sorry.
Zach Greenwood from Ward 2. I'm just up here to kind of say the same thing. I'm a homeowner, taxpayer in Claremont, and we pay such a high tax rate in this city. And I think the school board and you guys need to figure out a way to solve this problem without an increase in our taxes, because from my perspective, our school, our kids' education, our numbers are already 20 points lower than the state averages. So if we end up having to get a higher tax rate, whether that's 5 cents or anything, we're paying more for less. And I'm tired of it in this town. And my other fear is that with all this debacle, who's going to want to buy homes in this town and raise families? So is our property values going to start dwindling? And then am I paying a tax rate on an assessed value that doesn't actually add up to anything close to what I could sell my home for? So these are my concerns. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Greenwood. Anybody else like to speak this evening? Mr. Osgood.
Joe Osgood, Ward 1. I just wrote a few things down because sometimes I get carried away. You all know that. This is big. With too many people involved, it goes back so many years. It's going to be hard to get to the answer. For employees operating under a contract and a job description, some of the actions that have been done could possibly be looked at as criminal. A forensic audit will craft a map for going forward. Without one, this couldn't happen. A forensic audit will drive the whole scenario where a job description and a contract can be formed. I would ask that the council, because this is all of the school, the council should put out an RFP and find out what it would cost to have a forensic audit of this serious situation. It's time for the council to step in for that. As a council, you should demand an audit to start with, and getting an RFP with the right amount of money, and then put it on a warrant article. Let the people decide whether they want to spend that money or not. Because the first thing when you say forensic audit, oh, it costs so much money. We need to have some answers, and I don't believe we will have answers. And I think your individual here that's looking into this from the outside, I think he's going to be a very helpful tool if you do have a forensic audit. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Osgood. Anybody else?
Good evening, Karen Leo Hill, Executive Counselor. I am one of the state officials for Claremont that represents Claremont, a liaison to the executive branch, if you will. And earlier today, we had the opportunity, the legislators, and I see Hope Damon is here as well, had the opportunity to have a briefing from the school district. They briefed the state senators, there were members, the education commissioner, members of our state agencies were there as well. And there is a PowerPoint presentation. So I think it was the mayor's, I think Councilor Kolaski said the mayor likes PowerPoints. So tomorrow night, there is a PowerPoint that the school district is going to be presenting, and I think that will be extremely helpful. I completely agree that there's the lack of information specifically in the last couple of school board meetings has been frustrating to the public, and I think has contributed to some of the questions and frustration in the community. So I think the presentation tomorrow at the school board meeting is going to really be very, very helpful, and there will be a PowerPoint. They also discussed I think it was Councilor Greenrose was talking about the $4 million loan, but at the same time that Mr. Angel is that's about cash flow, while Mr. Angel is figuring out, and I think we were told earlier this afternoon that Mr. Angel is trying to get his arms wrapped around the larger question of the deficit by the end of the month. Is that fair to say, Mr. Angel? By the end of the month. So it's tough to not have all the answers right now, but he's got a lot of work to do before he has the answers. And so I was encouraged to hear earlier this morning that the bank loan, which I think of as a payday loan essentially, that could be a tool that's available to the community if the public, if the board votes on that tomorrow, and that by the end of the month, hopefully the community will have a lot more information about the full scale of the problem. I've attended the meeting so far. I plan to attend tomorrow. I want to just say how remarkable it is that how the community has been coming together, and I know there was a very successful fundraising for extracurriculars yesterday, and so I just I'm really, it's just encouraging and heartwarming to see how people are rallying together in a tough time. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I finish with the?
I just wanted, we're not really, I enjoy their comments, but it's not to the.
I appreciate it, but we've always allowed, so. Anybody else like to speak? Good news is, looks like that was the last one, so. So at this point, we'll close up